We're live. It's saying we are live on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah, we're on.
Oh, we're on. Meeting is now streaming live. We think we're on anyway. We'll talk to each other if nobody else is listening.
Absolutely. You know, we like an after party. Let me just share it on my page. Kev, could you possibly share that for me?
Kev, just check it's working.
Is it working? Are we on? We're on, Emma. We're on. We're good to go.
We're on. Yay. Right, we made it finally. Welcome to Lockdown Life Live with Les from Inizio Hair. Hi, Les. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no,
I know. Great. I'm the first one to appear on these live feeds. I can't wait.
I don't know whether you're the victim or the guinea pig, but one or the other.
I don't mind being either.
So for any of you that don't know Les, which I'm sure all of you must know Les by now, this is Les from Inizio Hair based on Stodman Street. Les, tell us a little bit about your business, who you are, and what does it say on blind day? Who you are and where did you come from?
God, you're showing your age now, Emma.
I know, I am.
So yeah, I'm Les Jones from Inizio Hair. I'm the creative director there and obviously the founder of the business. So we've been on Stodman Street for 11 years, set the business up from fresh. I wasn't originally from Newark, decided after sort of 18 months of looking around the area that Newark was a great place to land our business. And really we wanted to sort of create a business that felt very London based. You know, I'm a London hairdresser, started at Sassoon's and really wanted to give clients that sort of ultimate experience that they're getting down south. So, you know, everything about the business was sort of triggered around that point. So we, like I said, we've been there 11 years. This is our 11th year now. I can't believe that, Emma.
11 years
now. That's 11 years, crazy. Crikey. And it's gone really quickly and we've achieved loads of great things. We've got a great team. We've got 11 stylists there now. Some of them we've sort of grown within the business, a lot of them. Some of them we've employed from outside that have got massive experience within the industry. So yeah, we sort of, without sort of trying to blow our own trumpet, we've sort of done some great things and achieved some great things, and we love what we do there. As you know,
got a great reputation around the town, Les. You've really definitely built up a brilliant business. Really good.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit, because this whole series of interviews is all about the personalities behind the brands. That Shop Newark Online, to me, is all about bringing independent businesses together, and I think a lot of the reason that people go to those independent businesses are for those independent people, the personalities behind that name. So tell us a little bit about Les.
Gosh, what can I say? Well, I don't know. I'm 42 and I've been in lockdown for 12 months nearly, so everything's a little bit plain. So a little bit about me. So I've done a lot in the industry as a hairdresser. What do I know? I moved to New York 11 years ago and you know, met lots of friends here, built the business up from there. You know, I've done things like London Fashion Week. As most of you know, we did the Strictly tour for a couple of years, which was great fun. That was really, really good. And in my previous life before this, I did a lot of work in the industry. I was nominated twice for Hairdresser of the Year, the Fame team. So, you know, there was a lot of industry-based stuff there. You know, there was loads, Emma. There was photo shoots. There was some celebrity stuff as well that I did, which was great. So I've been really, really lucky.
But you got some stories to tell, haven't you?
I've got a few, but I don't.
We won't ask you them tonight. Don't worry.
Too long to.
We haven't got that long. Haven't got that long or that much wine.
No. To be honest, none of it's that exciting. But yeah, you know, I've had a great career so far, and you know, my ultimate goal was to set up the business Inizio, and so far so good. I mean, obviously we're on pause at the minute, but
just a quick question that I've always wondered: where did the name come from?
So it's actually Italian. It's Inizio for new beginning.
Oh, okay.
So when my mum used to live in Italy, and she passed away unfortunately the year before we opened. But throughout me sort of setting up the business, my mum was still alive and going through chemotherapy and things like that. And she was really behind me. So because there was a bit of an Italian connection, my other sisters got involved and we sat down with lots of different names. And it was a new beginning for me because I was new to the area, a new beginning for my clients, the connection with my mum too. So it all sort of fitted in quite nicely.
Yeah, that's a lovely story. Yeah, perfect.
Nice story, isn't it, behind
it?
So it was well thought out.
Yes, good. So why we're here tonight, we're here to find out really how you've coped for the last year, I suppose, just over the last year. For all of us, it's been a really, really challenging time that we could never have predicted. And I was just telling you before we went live that actually I remember sitting in your salon must have been January time, having a coffee and a chat with Alice Bradbury from Peachy Clean. And she was saying to me, I love Alice too. She's saying, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it awful about China? Like, can you imagine the coronavirus in China? It's awful. Never did we entertain the fact that actually that might be heading our way quicker than we could have ever believed and turning our world upside down in a way that, again, we could never have believed or predicted. So, no. I mean, as a business, we're all independent business owners, but I think this has affected us all in such different ways. So how did it feel to you when you first heard the news?
Well, it's funny actually, because we've got a really lovely HR lady that works with our business, and we'd sat down in January, February, knowing that things were going to change. And then when we got to the sight of all of this happening with COVID and the possibility of this closing down, the first thing we did was we sat down with the team and we sort of said to them, look, this could be happening. This was prior to furlough, so we really wanted to be ahead of the game, because I mean, you could never imagine in 100 years that this would ever happen. And never. How do you deal with it? Because I don't think any of us knew how to deal with any of this. But we did sit down with the team and we sort of said, look, this is what's predicted to happen. If this happens, this is how it's going to affect you. It's how it's going to affect the business. There was lots of tears. There was a lot of, I remember one of the team members going, is it really that serious? And of course, a year on, here we are. But I'm so glad I did that with the team member, because obviously, whereas our business, there's a lot of businesses out there selling clothes or produce. Our produce is our team. Yeah. So without them being on board or trusting me or we've got no business. So yeah. One of the things I remember saying to them is that they had to trust me. I wanted them to trust me to make some decisions, because I thought it was going to be really tough, which it has been. And I just think at that point I gained their respect. Yeah, because you communicated with them, didn't you? Absolutely, and you kept them involved. Yeah. There's no hiding anything from them. It was black and white. There it is on the table. I didn't know what was going to happen. And so then obviously we went into the whole thing in March where lockdown happened. And gosh, so that first day that you had to close your doors, that must have been a tough day. Well, it was tearful. I mean, I don't know whether you remember that I did a little bit of a live feed. I got home and there was a few tears, and it was a business that we'd set up 10 years ago. And as a lot of retailers and independents will know, you don't just one day wake up to set a business up. You put everything into it. It's in your blood. You go without things. I mean, I didn't pay myself for 3 years, which a lot of businesses do. It's 7 hours, 7 days a week. Yeah. 10 years on, and there I am closing the doors of something that's me. It was my reason. Well. Yeah. It was my purpose in life to get up every day and open my shop and develop it and evolve it and train, and we just set up the training academy and things like that. So it was really tough. It was really emotional. So what was the first thing that you decided that you were going to try and do? I mean, I know the first thing that you tried to get rid of people's greys with that magic powder that you did a live about. That saved it for me. Absolutely. We bought boxes of it. I was like, I was pulling in on some favors, let me tell you, on that one. I was like, oh my God, my clients can't have roots and they can't use box dyes. So yeah, I think the reality of it was the first couple of weeks I stuck my head under a duvet. And then I sort of went through this emotional roller coaster. We were doing silly things like the team, we were having weekly meetings and just catch ups. And then we were doing boot camps online. And I mean, it was terrible looking back because none of them really wanted to do it. But it was really trying to keep them motivated and me be responsible for them. And there was a point where I just sort of went, you know, what do we do next? And then we started to do the lockdown tutorials online.
Yeah.
Because I sat there thinking, how can I adapt my business? You know, retailers can sell online. Of course, we can sell shampoos, but I wanted to sort of almost do something else for my clients. And we knew that people were going to be cutting fringes and cutting gents' hair. And so let's do it safely with a little bit of guidance. And actually, it was keeping me busy.
Yeah.
So there was loads of them, and it really got me back into that, you know, motivated routine, I guess.
Yeah, it was great. Really, really good.
There was a lot of laughs.
There was a lot of laughs. I think my son wishes that I'd watched your tutorial before we shaved his head.
There you go. And why didn't you, Emma?
Guard him for life. So eventually the day came when you could open your doors, and I know how one of the ways that you changed, but just tell everybody else what you decided to do with your teams to make it a safe environment for your customers.
So we obviously had to do a risk assessment. We had to do 3 actually. And so when we'd done our risk assessment, we came up with the problem of having too many team for the space allocation. So with that and clients and our training team and our front of house team, we couldn't get everybody in the same space at the same time. So what we decided to do is keep us in 2 teams. So it meant that we'd have team 1 that would sort of be isolated, and then team 2. So we opened 12 days a week, 6 days a week. So we're only closed on a Sunday, which meant that we'd give it a proper clean. Thanks to Alice Bradbury again, that got us all the fogging machines. So on a Sunday, these fogging machines would go on, and literally it was incredible, because I remember turning up at the shop one day on the first time we'd had them on, and I thought there'd been a fire. Because literally,
they're like a deep clean system then?
Yeah, well, they have disinfectant in them. So what they basically do is all this steam goes out, you close all the doors and lock everything down. It just pumps this disinfectant into the atmosphere. And obviously it's disinfecting everything that you touch. And but it's incredible to see. So we had 4 of them. But again, it was all about, we knew that we needed to be ultra careful. A, for our team, B, for our clients. You know, if we wanted to maintain our business, we needed to make sure we're operating at maximum capacity 24/7, or as many hours as we could. So we had to put all of these things in place. We had screens, as you know, put in. We took seats out, so there's 2 meters in between each working station. There's breakout zones, so we've got 2 of those in the salon, which are just basically cordoned in vinyl, so people can go behind there on their own and take their masks off. So it was a place that they could sort of just take a breather. Yeah. So there was loads of things that we put in place. Obviously, every station was sanitized, and we did COVID tests. So we did a training for it. Every member of the team did specific training for COVID, sanitization. So there was a lot of work that went into that, a lot of work.
And how did you cope with the backlog of demand? Because you must have gone back to a list as long as, I don't know what.
Well, I mean, we currently have something like 3,000 people on our database. Obviously, we don't work on all of them, but we've just changed our system over. So I know that we've probably got about 800 to 850 active clients. So you can imagine trying to cram all of those clients in. It kept us busy all the way through. In fact, after the second lockdown, we've still got clients now that we haven't been able to see since, June, July.
Gosh, really?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, they've been so good with us, and
wow,
you know, they understand it. But yeah, every opportunity. I mean, you know, the team were just incredible, Emma.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
working with it, and clients have been great.
Over Christmas as well. I mean, we all know that Christmas for salons is one of the busiest times. Everybody needs their hair done for Christmas Day, don't they? How did you manage to cope with all that?
Well, I think we had the added pressure that at any point we knew that any of our team could go off with COVID or be having to isolate. And again, touch wood, we didn't have any cases of COVID. We didn't have any isolation or anything like that. So it meant that we could work as many hours. We did Sundays every day, every week. So we were literally operating 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And I mean, I was going in at 7:30 every morning, and sanitizing, so steam cleaning everything, because I do have a bit of OCD. But again, you know, we made it work. You adapt. You've got to adapt.
You have
and
to,
I think
yeah,
that was
you
the
have
thing.
to.
We didn't take
it's easier said than
granted.
done, but you do have to do that, don't you?
Yeah, I think the hardest part is being motivated to do it. You know, you sit there and you go, like everybody else, God, this is really hard work, and the responsibility lands on our shoulders.
So how did you keep that motivation and that positive attitude? Because we all know how positive you are about everything. How did you keep going and keep that attitude?
Well, if I'm honest, I think there's a few things. I think one of my biggest priorities in life is mental health awareness. As you all know, I live with Kev Guthrie, who is a great supporter of that. Give me a shout out, Kev. Thank you very much. But I think ultimately it was my team. You know, the majority of my team have been with me for nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
And they need me to be motivated, and you know, they've invested in that business too, in Inizio. So it was that, if I'm really honest, that my clients, you know, clients that have been traveling up and down from Sheffield and Rotherham for 10 years and have known me for 20 odd plus years, it's that. So I think one of the things I said to myself was that when I had a bit of a down day, which we all have, was to just go with it, to lie in bed and watch rubbish on the telly, eat rubbish food, and then just get over it, which and you know, rather than trying to fight it.
Yeah, and accept that's one thing that I've learned recently, actually, that it's okay to feel like that. Everybody feels like that. It doesn't mean that you failed if you feel like that. It's
not
quite
personal.
Yeah. It's hard sometimes, isn't it, to get through that.
I think the other thing I was really keen to do was because I'm a great advocate for independence and Newark High Street.
Yeah.
It's something, because you know, Emma, I've really fought for over the last couple of years since winning the Small Business of the Year and Business Person. I sort of made a bit of a pact to myself that I would do everything I could to really support them and bring them together. So I think one of the things on the back of this was me getting in contact with as many of the retailers that I can, that I know. Also at the hairdressers as well. You know, we've, in amongst all of this, although a lot of hairdressers out there in Newark are seem to be competition for us, we're all relatively good friends, you know, and we've shared things. We shared as much of the stuff that I shared with them, and you know, it's pulling that community together as well.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it, working together?
So yeah, being a bit of a drive for each other, and we still are now.
Yeah, that is lovely. And that's what Shop Newark Online is all about. It's all about collaborative working, really. I mean, we're all independent retailers and we're all fighting for the same end game, aren't we? So let's work together and be friends together and help each other.
I mean, I think the website was such a great idea. And obviously I know you on a personal note too. And I think the great thing about Shop Newark Online is that you get it. It was like you went, right, how can I help? How can I help local retailers? Because I know this is really tough. And so you came to us and said, come on, guys, why don't we calibrate? Why don't we have one fundamental website? And we can, you know, and it works. I mean, we, you know, the first time we launched it just before Christmas, we had maybe 10, 15 orders.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, really quickly as well. Yeah.
And, you know, that's gift vouchers and things like that. So I thought it was a great idea, and it works.
Yeah, and it's not just a lockdown pandemic idea. It was always born to be a long-term idea for the future of Newark, really, and the local independence. So what's next for Inizio Hair then?
Well, obviously our sort of short-term plan is just to be open safely. I know, and getting everybody sorted. I think that the thing is, at the moment, as you know, I've always got a grand plan. You know, it's always like 2 steps forward, and I think that's been the challenge for me, learning to let the dust settle a little bit. So I think our plan going back into it is letting the dust settle, getting on top of it, making sure my team are fit and healthy and happy. One of my big things, actually, being away from it and being able to look back into it, is education again. Something that I've always been passionate about, but I really do want to, once we're settled and sorted, really go for the education, take all the team, invest, you know, 12 months in us training. Because I don't want to just be a hairdresser. I don't want us just to be a salon. I want us to be the best. You know, it's we know so many people in the industry, and you know, a lot of them are my friends, and we are going to go out there and get the most current hairdressing education we possibly can.
Yeah,
and bring
do that
it back
one
to
step
Newark.
ahead. Fantastic. Yeah.
I'm
Exciting.
excited.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too. We just need to hopefully get the doors open as soon as it's safe to do so, and then we can crack on.
Back up
Do my hair and get rid of my roots.
I like your hair up like that, actually,
Like the two-tone effect.
Yeah, we'll call it balayage or
We will.
ombre.
It's meant to be like that.
Natural one.
Well, that was great, Les. Thank you very much for telling us all about trading through the pandemic in Inizio hairstyle. And wish you the best of luck with everything going forward.
Thanks, Emma. Thank you.
And I'll be back
really
next. Well, I'll be back lots of times before then, but I'll be back with the next Lockdown Life Live next week, next Tuesday at 7. And I'm speaking to James from Wizard Toys to find out how they've been trading through the pandemic. Thanks a lot.